we are engaging the world diplomatically.
President Tinubu reassures Nigerians of imminent victory over terror.
We need to start turning this paper from paper to projects, and COP30 is where Nigeria will be doing this.
Nigeria charts Africa's first climate plan with new green roadmap.
Anyone attempting violence, vote buying, intimidation, or ballot interference will face swift and lawful consequences.
Also tonight, Anambra gears up as INEC deploys poll materials for Saturday's crucial vote. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Juma Yusuf. Tonight we are bringing you some of the latest news from across the country with Adeola Kaumi Akere as our anchor in Lagos. Benny Adams is on standby here in Abuja studio for the business news, and Francisca Bele will be bringing us the latest in the world of sports. Remember, you can watch the live stream of this newscast on our various handles on social media. You can also catch a playback on this broadcast on our YouTube channel and other social media platforms displayed on your screen. Now, President Bola Tinubu has again reassured that his administration is taking necessary steps to ensure that Nigeria defeat terrorism and other forms of insecurity. President Tinubu gave the assurance during the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. Let's take a listen to State House correspondent Musbah Wahab's report.
The Federal Executive Council meeting came to order to fill the hitherto ministerial vacancies created in the Council. Following their nomination and screening by the National Assembly, 2 new ministers designate were primed for inauguration. Bernard Doro from Plateau State replaces former Humanitarian Affairs Minister Nentawe Yiwada, who is now the APC National Chairman. And Kingsley Ude, a former commissioner from Enugu State, is taking the slot of Enugu to replace the former Minister of Science and Technology, Uche Naji, who resigned recently.
Of my duties as minister, so help me God.
Then, in an unusual circumstance, came the usual assertive voice.
The most important thing is
President Bola Tinubu would for the first time react to the current situation occasioned by the threat of military incursion by the U.S.
Despite the political headwind and the fear of our people, we continue to engage with our partners. The success of the 2.3 billion bond, our subscription, oversubscribed, is the most at this stage. So the task ahead is immense. We are engaging the world diplomatically, and we assure all of you that we will, defeat terrorism in this country. The task ahead is immense, but it's our resolve to move forward with unity and purpose, guided by renewed hope agenda to build a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Nigeria.
The President also yielded the floor to the Coordinating Minister of Finance and Economy, Wale Edun. The Coordinating Minister gave updates of economic progress, including the growth of GDP by 4.2% in the second quarter of 2025, growth of 13 major sectors by 7%, growth of industrial sector from 3.72% to 7.45%, foreign exchange reserves topped $43 billion, while trade surplus hit 7.4 trillion naira.
Yesterday's hugely successful 2.35 billion euro bond issuance, in which the order book peaked at over $13 billion, is a testament to continued investor confidence in our country and our reform agenda and Mr. President's leadership.
He assures of sectoral commitments to the $1 trillion economy envisioned by the government as they prepare for the next phase of the reforms.
The next phase of reforms will remove barriers holding back investors. We will review tariffs and import restrictions to stimulate productivity and investment.
The minister believes every naira must be optimized to sustain momentum amid global liquidity constraints, while the government continues to harness local resources to strengthen the economy. From the State House, Musbah Wahab, NT News.
In the meantime, the Federal Executive Council has approved the concessioning of the Port Harcourt International Airport alongside approval spree for infrastructural projects across the country. Again, let's take a listen to State House correspondent Musbah Wahab for more decisions of the council meeting this Thursday.
After deliberations at the 9th meeting of the council for the year, Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris picked up as the chairman for the briefing session.
But there is no any panic mode here. We are responding responsibly, steadily, and in the interest of our country, also, taking into account the concerns both from within and outside this country of what the situation in this.
Minister of Works announced Council's approval for 11 memos of 2 awards of contracts and 9 for review. The 9 existing contracts approved for review and continuation include sections of Old Enugu-Onitsha Road and the East-West Road, while the new contract awarded included Section 3 of the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway.
The 2 started from the beginning of the route. This third section started from the end of the route. And that is from Badagry, which is in Lagos State, going to Ogun, and from Ogun to the border between Ogun and Oyo State. And the total kilometer is 162.97 kilometers. And it's awarded for 6 lanes and for use of reinforced concrete pavement for a contract cost of 3.39 billion per kilometer.
Similarly, FCT administration got approval for the ratification of construction of residences of heads of courts in the territory and the renovation of International Conference Center, now Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. It also secured approval for the contract of provision of water to satellite towns along Karu, Orozo-Karushi area, as well as the engineering-proof infrastructure project in Maitama 2.
Most people who have allocated that land before this administration, but no provision of infrastructure. So the President Council today approved that contract, and by the grace of God, this is one very ambitious project that the FCT is embarking upon. We believe, by the grace of God, we are going to give it all it requires to see that district is opened.
The Council approved the exclusion of properties of the Federal Airport Authority in and around airports in the country from disposal to private individuals and the concessioning of the Port Harcourt International Airports.
We will concession the airports. They are running at a loss. We cannot continue to waste government money. They will not lose their jobs. That's the message to the union. I repeat it again, no worker will lose his job as a result of the concession.
There are now approvals for the establishment of tourism and cultural economic zones and the adoption of tourism brands across the country, including the emerging Dirty December in Lagos.
For Dirty December, we have asked the President to establish a presidential task force on Dirty December that will allow all the different interdependencies that we need, the different MDAs, aviation, interior, power, that we need to ensure that we provide the international community with a destination for Dirty December.
The Council also sanctioned the modification of the Presidential Council of Tourism Promotion and Investments. From the State House, Musbah Wahab, NT News.
And at the COP30 in Brazil, Nigeria has positioned itself as West Africa's climate action leader following its submission of the region's first third national determined contribution, NDC 3.0, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Director General of Nigeria's National Council on Climate Change, Tenioye Majekondumi, disclosed this during the ongoing 13th Conference of the Parties of the UNFCCC COP30 in Berlin, Brazil, in an interview ahead of the summit's opening ceremony. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jubilah reports.
Belém, the capital state of Para in the North Brazil, is a port city and gateway to Brazil's lower Amazon region. And this is where leaders across nations are meeting, with Nigeria participating on the UN Climate Change 30th session to discuss on 3 key mandated reports that shed light on where progress is happening and where more acceleration is still needed. And Vice President Kashim Shettima prepares to unveil Nigeria's green transition roadmap to the world leaders, positioning the country to turn its climate commitment into concrete investment opportunities and projects.
Submission of our NDC 3.0, and we being the first West African country to submit. And this is, it's a turning point for Nigeria. And one of the main things we're hoping to take away is to turn all these deliverables in our NDC 3.0 into pipeline projects, partnerships, and pay for performance. Because we need to start turning this paper from paper to projects, and COP30 is where Nigeria will be doing this.
It's about Mr. President's commitment to the 2016 Paris Accord, which Nigeria is signatory to, and of course ensuring that, Article 13 of that particular accord, which talks about climate change, is duly pursued and of course being implemented later. So here in Belém, Mr. Vice President will definitely be taking to the later and speaking to the spirit and body of Nigeria's intent. And talking about nationally determined contributions has always been pursued. We look forward to reducing our climate emissions in 2030 by 35%. And of course, we are targeting zero emissions by 2060.
Vice President Kashim Shettima is billed to join other world leaders, development partners, and business executives at the opening ceremony of COP30, themed climate action and implementation, with a strong focus on adaptation, forest, biodiversity, and climate justice, expected to present Nigeria's climate action address. From Belém in Brazil, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
And back home, the Nigerian Senate has tasked President Bola Tinubu's appointees to serve with diligence and accountability, emphasizing the importance of value addition in their roles. This comes as the Senate screens and confirms the latest ministerial appointee, Dr. Kingsley Tochukwu-Ude. SAN National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the Senate wants them to prioritize the nation's interest and deliver quality service.
Tochukwu-Ude, the newly confirmed minister, during the screening, emphasized the use of his skills and expertise to improve Nigeria.
I've spanned across various facets of life, and this is what I would leverage to bring value to the renewed hope of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The Senate urged all presidential appointees, including the new minister, to focus on service to the nation.
Dr. Kingsley Tochukwu-Ude, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He appears to be a fit and proper person, highly educated and very cerebral, to work as a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, add value to the Federal Cabinet to ensure that Nigeria realize the hope, the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President.
Meanwhile, Senate has adopted a resolution sequel to a motion from Senator Asukwa Ekpenyong asking NAFDAC and other regulators not to extend the December 2025 deadline for the ban on the sale and packaging of high-strength alcohol in sachet.
Some manufacturers continue to lobby for another extension, thereby undermining regulatory authority, jeopardizing public health, and potentially encourage prolonged proliferation and circulation of these products in harmful sachet packaging formats in our communities.
Excessive youth exposure to cheap, high alcohol content products packaged in sachet contributes to addiction.
The lawmakers noted that previous appeals from industry players led to a one-year extension from the initial 2024 deadline. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, the Republic of Angola has described the big brother role of Nigeria in securing the African continent and defending democracy as unequivocal since the attainment of self-rule. The revelation was made at the Angola 50th Independence Anniversary with the theme, Preserve Value Achievements Attained, Building a Better Future. Correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
This gathering specifically meant to celebrate Angola's 50th independence anniversary and to deeply reflect on the struggles that began in 1576 and ended in 1975, which marked the beginning of a new dawn spanning over 5 decades. But a phrase from the late military Nigerian ruler, General Murtala Rahmat Mohammed, which says, and I quote, "African cannot be free until Angola is free," end of quote, put Nigeria's role on the front burner. Now, diplomats, historians and freedom fighters acknowledged the role Nigeria played for the liberation and restoration of constitutional order in Angola, suggesting the deepening of bilateral ties and mutual cooperation between Nigeria and Angola.
Nigeria has his back and the back of Angolans and will do everything possible to ensure the freedom of Angola.
Where I saw the devastation, the state of despair and hunger that was there, that was 1993 and 94.
And these third-party interests were more interested not in the love for the people of Angola, but for their own interest in terms of acquiring the economic wealth.
We extend our warmest felicitations to the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Angola, His Excellency Jose Bamukwina Zhao.
Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohamed Idris said Nigeria will continue to explore greater opportunities for robust diplomatic cooperation and brotherhood on the continent.
We are trying as much as possible to make sure that this is resolved through diplomatic channels. This you say, I say, we don't think will help matter, but we have a duty to explain who we are as a country. We have a duty to also call on all Nigerians to come together, to think together. This is not a time for politics. This is not a time to say what you believe in or what you don't. This is the time to think and behave as a Nigerian. And I think that is what all of us should do.
The theme for the 50th independence anniversary of Angola is Preserve and Value Achievement Attained, Building a Better Future, with Nigerians standing tall as late General Murtala Rahmat Mohammed and 5 others were honored with the highest medal in the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga.
Thanks for joining us, and let's bring you up to speed with other news as Minister of Education Dr. Olatunji Alausa wants stakeholders in the education sector to work towards building an education system that is data-driven, professionally anchored, inclusive and globally competitive for national development and sustainable prosperity. He was speaking at the 69th National Council of Education meeting held in Akure, Ondo State, with the theme, Quality Education Data, and Professionalization of Teaching Tools for Enhanced National Development. Tony Batire reports.
The 69th National Council on Education meeting, organized by the Federal Ministry of Education in collaboration with the Ondo State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, brought together top education policy makers and technocrats from across the country to review national progress, identify challenges, and develop a unified national strategy for the education sector. Minister of Education Dr. Olatunji Alausa stressed the importance of quality educational data in improving teaching and learning, noting that several initiatives and reforms have now been activated to reposition the sector, while disclosing that from next year, the annual school census WAEC and NECO will be fully digitized, and that persons living with disabilities and out-of-school children will not be left out of the innovation.
Let us reaffirm our collective resolve to build an education system that is data-driven, professionally anchored, inclusive, and globally competitive.
Education drives progress and growth in societies worldwide. Recognizing this, global nation united to forge the Education 2030 agenda, a pledge for inclusive, fair, and quality education for everyone.
Firmly committed to ensuring access to free, functional, and affordable education at the primary and secondary levels across the state.
Ondo State is committed to providing a conducive environment for learning, prioritizing both innovation and inclusivity.
Stakeholders at the meeting expressed optimism that the resolutions reached will help advance the education system and deepen collaboration between federal and state authorities. In Nakure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
And in a fast-changing world where digital technologies are shaping progress, women must be equipped with the right tools and knowledge for them to continue to be agents of change in their families, communities, and the nation. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this at the closing ceremony of the Women in Tech training program organized for 300 female entrepreneurs by Renewed Hope Initiative in collaboration with Huawei Technologies Company. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Their journey into the digital world began around April last year when the Women in Tech training program set up by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu through our Renewed Hope Initiative in collaboration with Huawei Technologies Company provided a platform for this cohort of 300 participants from across the 6 geopolitical zones to learn and adopt digital tools. The successful completion of their training, the First Lady says, marks another milestone in the efforts of Renewed Hope Initiative to bridge digital gaps by offering training and other incentives for female entrepreneurs to contribute to national development.
The participants in this group reflect the diversity and strength of Nigerian women, ranging from university students eager to step into the world of digital economy to business owners seeking to expand their enterprises through innovation to help them thrive in today's evolving technology-driven world.
While applauding Huawei Technologies for the collaboration, she says the ultimate goal is to support the agenda of the federal government for inclusive growth and digital empowerment for all Nigerians.
Your biggest strength is your ability to keep learning, evolving and adapting to new trends available for your growth in technology. Use your new skills to solve real problems in your various communities, because true innovation is only valuable when it improves lives. I charge you all to mentor others in your various businesses. Be a guide for young girls and women who think technology is not for them.
We are all ambassadors of digital empowerment, and you carry with you the torch of innovation and the promise of change. The renewed hope is not just a slogan, but it is a reality where every Nigerian woman can dream, learn, and lead without limits.
Use this certificate as a key to the world. Use it to build your product.
With their certificate of participation and starter packs in hands, they stand at the threshold of the digital world, ready to unlock doors of opportunities as innovators, able and willing to build products and solutions.
So we were taught how to use AI to generate our own businesses.
It has made things very easy for me. In my research work, it helped me a very lot, even in my teaching.
I want to expand it to other people too that are not from Nigeria, that are not from Imo State, that are willing to have an virtual class.
Apart from this cohort, RHI partnership with other organizations, including the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has served to promote digital inclusion for women. From the banquet hall of the presidential villa, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
And talking electoral matters, INEC is prepared to deliver a credible governorship election in Anambra State this Saturday. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amupiton gave the assurance at a meeting in Abuja.
Anyone attempting violence, vote buying, intimidation, or ballot interference will face swift and lawful consequences. And to the voters, INEC is ready for you. So come out on Saturday, 8th November 2025, vote freely, vote peacefully, and vote proudly. By God's grace and the courage of the people, the 2025 Anambra governorship election will be peaceful, credible, and a true victory for democracy in Nigeria.
4 national commissioners and 10 resident electoral commissioners have been deployed to the state. The 5th joint supervision mission of the Life ND project in conjunction with IFAD and NDDC has been held in Benin, the Edo State capital, with a call on the federal government for its sustainability. Eugenia Ndubisi reports that the country director, IFAD, Dede Ekwe, stated this while reviewing the transformative impact of the program on rural communities of the 9 benefiting states in the Niger Delta.
The FGN NDDC IFAD assisted livelihood improvement enterprises Niger Delta project Life ND through its innovative incubation model has continued to empower thousands of youth and women across several local government areas in Edo State and other benefiting states by equipping them with the knowledge, skills and resources to run profitable agri-enterprises. In Edo State, the project supports agribusiness clusters in poultry, fisheries, cassava, rice, and other value chains.
The mission also offers a space to consolidate lesson, learn, and best practice, and to chart the next step towards scaling up the success of this very impactful program.
National Program Coordinator Life ND, Dr. Abiodun Sani, and representatives of other development partners are happy for the transformative impact Life ND is having on rural communities.
We ensure that the female gender and the male gender, and also women who are classified as under the female headers household.
The Life ND project stands as a model of what is possible through effective partnership.
The government recognizes the strategic importance of agriculture as a driver of inclusive growth and poverty reduction.
It is expected that the project will upscale to the 8 non-implementing local government areas to further empower over 3,000 additional agripreneur women and youth in the state. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
Let's go to Yobe State, where the government has proposed more than 515 billion naira to finance both capital and recurrent expenditures for the 2026 fiscal year. Governor Mai Mala Buni made the proposal during the presentation of the 2026 Finance and Appropriation Bill to the State House of Assembly for consideration and approval. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
Budget of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Transformation. The 2026 proposed budget is geared towards the completion of ongoing projects and funding of new ones in the state. To achieve these, Governor Mai Mala Buni says a total of 515 billion 583 million naira is proposed to finance government activities in the 2026 fiscal year. Out of this amount, more than 192 billion, representing 37.3% of the budget, is allocated to recurrent expenditure, while more than 323 billion naira, representing 62.7% of the budget, is earmarked for capital expenditure, all to be financed through federal allocation, internally generated revenue, grants and capital development fund, among other sources.
Government will sustain its efforts in road construction as a major factor for infrastructural development for efficient delivery of goods and services boost agricultural development, and woo both indigenous and foreign investors. To realize this vital objective, funds will be made available for the construction of township roads and drainages in 6 major towns of Damaturu, Portiskum, Nguru, Gashua, Gaidam, and Bunyadi.
The proposed 2026 finance and appropriation bills are passed first reading, with the state legislators pledging to expedite their passage into law to enable the executive arm provide more dividends of democracy to the citizens. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Empowering smallholder farmers, youth and women is a major goal at this year's Agri Summit Africa 2025 in Abuja. The summit also explores how digital technology and green finance can transform Africa's agriculture sector. Musa Baba Aliu tells us more.
Africa, a continent with the power to feed the world, yet battling food insecurity at home. In Abuja, leaders, innovators and farmers gathered to turn the tide at Agriculture Summit Africa 2025. A summit theme, Survival of the Greenest, Reclaiming Africa's Food Destiny, hosted by Sterling Bank and co-convened by Sunbeth Global Concepts.
Sterling Bank, our vision is simple: to enable prosperity through purposeful investment in real economy. Agriculture remains at the heart of this vision. We recognize that feeding Africa is not just a moral or developmental imperative. It is a business opportunity.
The summit is a call to transform African agriculture to drive sustainable solutions, build resilient food systems, and elevate the continent into a global food powerhouse. At the heart of the conversations are green finance, digital tools, and agri-tech, climate-smart farming, and empowering youth, women, and smallholder farmers who produce up to 80% of Africa's food.
Empowering Africa's food future is not merely a theme. Therefore, it is a mandate, a moral imperative that calls us to action.
National Agricultural Development Fund, we believe the finance must be catalytic, not just capital funds for our initiatives and programs, but capital that unlocks value, de-risk innovation.
It does.
A major milestone emerged, a 20 billion naira agreement signed between Sterling Bank and the National Agriculture Development Fund, a lifeline designed to bridge the financing gap, choking growth in the sector and unlock new opportunities. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
That was Musa Abubakar's report on Sterling Bank Agricultural Summit Africa. We now join Adeola Kaumi in our Lagos studio for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Adeola.
Jumai. A joint thematic meeting on migration has highlighted the urgent need to combat migrant smuggling and human trafficking along the Rabat, Khartoum and Niamey routes. The corridors, stakeholders say, are sources of concern for transit and origin countries as well as the international community. Hingino John Adams reports that the two-day meeting focused on strengthening prevention, protection and prosecution frameworks along the Rabat, Khartoum and Niamey corridors.
Migrant smuggling and trafficking in human beings pose severe risk along African and European migration routes, especially the Rabat, Khartoum and Niamey corridors. From actions against human dignity, harsh weather conditions, to lack of access to food, water and medical aid.
The member states of the European Union will...
This is why these African and European partners are exchanging ideas with the aim of enhancing responses as well as ensuring coordinated efforts between origin, transit and destination countries.
We see a rise in this phenomenon, which are an abject form of modern slavery, and no single country can efficiently fight this.
At the end of this meeting, we should be able to say that we provide an adequate advocacy on the regular pathways.
Stakeholders agree that actions that will drive operational, institutional, and policy coordination are crucial in addressing the challenges.
The Rabat, Khartoum, and Niamey process are crucial, very, very, very crucial, extremely crucial, because they connect networks that go beyond borders.
We are at the intersection between the European and African partners' needs, and we really try to intercept those needs.
From different countries being pulled together by a common interest, they speak in unity with a strong belief that their collective action will end migrant smuggling and trafficking in human beings, as well as ensure safer migration routes. In Lagos, Hinginu, John Adams, NTA News.
In its drive to reduce youth unemployment and curb social vices, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has launched another phase of its vocational training program. 50 young Nigerians are taking part in the current batch, learning practical skills designed to promote self-reliance and productivity. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports.
Across the country, rising youth unemployment, truancy, and drug abuse continue to threaten social stability. To tackle this, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board launched a vocational training program in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda aimed at equipping young Nigerians with practical skills for self-reliance and national growth.
A ruler does not make a what? In a straight line.
As the popular saying goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Well, that's exactly what's going on here, as these young Nigerians are being equipped with practical skills that, if properly utilized, will make them self-reliant and keep them out of trouble.
For 27-year-old Afolabi Matthew Tiwalade, a university graduate, it is an opportunity too good to pass up.
So when you have this kind of skills, the difference will be there, because if you go to school and you have this knowledge, trust me, that is like a 2+ for you. You understand? So it's just that the packaging, the kind of upgrade I'm going to bring into it will be a little bit different. Just I'm like, this particular thing happened at the right time. Finishing school, coming to vocational study, by the time you merge those two together, trust me, the next 2 years, look out for Afolabi.
I've been learning more, and the skills as the supervisor and the teachers are doing a great job.
The program is facilitated by Actor Intra-Global Solutions Limited, with today's class focusing on fashion design, a trade that turns creativity into income.
Equip them with startups. That is submachine. So the training is going to run through 2 months.
The initiative aligns with the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda and underscores NCDMB's commitment to building local capacity. The training continues with sessions in other vocational fields in the weeks ahead. In Lagos, Awodisu Jubo, NTA News.
And we're done with the contribution from Lagos. There'll be more reports after this time out. To stay with us.
Christmas is your season to create a home where
You're still on to Africa's largest TV network, the NTA, and it's time to talk business. Now, the Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria under the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment says the strength of project management systems is what will guarantee real development in Nigeria. Hence, the need to foster professionalism, ethical standards, and institutional accountability at all levels. This is as the world today commemorates Global Day of Projects with the theme Power Trio, Project, Leadership, and Agile, emphasizing the dynamic relationship between effective project management, visionary leadership, and agility required to adapt in an ever-evolving world. In view of this, the CIPMN commits to ensuring that every project executed within Nigeria, whether public or private, adheres to national and international standards of quality, transparency, and sustainability.
Them that will ensure close and continuous oversight and quality assurance.
This is quite important to avoid such challenges that have been hindering Nigeria's infrastructural projects like delays, cost overruns, and substandard delivery.
Looking at the markets at this time, the Nigerian stock market posted its fourth consecutive sessions of losses on Thursday as the all-share index fell by 0.36%, leading to investors losing 347.75 billion naira. Today's transaction shows a blend of resilience and caution across key African markets, with Nigeria seeing a degree of volatility, while data for South Africa and Tunisia points to their movement continuing a broader but recent trend. The South African GSE Top 40 is back, steaming with bulls around commodity prices, particularly precious metals, while the Tunisia Tune Index market is up with key sectors like finance and real estate driving activity based on local economic reforms and investment climate reports. That is it, and business at this time. Jumai, it's nice doing business with you.
Always, Benny. Thank you so much. Now talking politics. Members of the defunct Congress for Progressive Change, now APC chieftains, have described President Bola Tinubu's security measures as top-notch, especially in areas where terrorist groups and bandits have been invaded in the past. They were speaking during a media briefing to support measures taken by Tinubu's presidency to restore permanent peace and guarantee stability across the country. Political correspondent Abuja reports.
These are prominent APC members of the extraction of the Congress for Progressive Change from across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, and the agenda on the table is one and fundamental, and the Bola Tinubu's presidency is now setting the stage for defining the nation's democratic leadership style, anchored on economic reforms, social justice, and watertight security.
By the time we approach 2027, this country will be so happy, will be so appreciative that we have a president in Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu.
His conviction and belief in the country, in the economic policies that will save this country imminent collapse or disaster.
The former governors, legislators, and party chieftains commended the president for inclusive governance, national unity, and social security, which have returned hope in the era of the renewed hope agenda. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Now, despite the initial legal hitches, the 2025 elective National Convention of the People's Democratic Party will hold. The purported suspended national chairman of the PDP, Umar Damagum, disclosed this at the 83rd meeting of the Board of Trustees of the PDP, which set up a 6-member committee headed by Ambassador Hassan Adamu to reconcile all aggrieved factions in the party. Timothy Yusuf reports that the factional acting national chairman of the PDP, Mohammed Abdurrahman, at another meeting says the Ibadan elective national convention is cancelled.
Any amendments?
This meeting is convened to provide strategic direction for planning towards the convention of the PDP and to resolve all outstanding issues. BOT Chairman Senator Adolphus Wabara described the meeting as a defining moment in the life of the party.
Our sacred duty is to safeguard the integrity of the PDP and ensure that dialogue triumphs over discord.
Every decision I took, every compromise I made, every gesture of accommodation was for the sake of this party. I chose the party, not individuals.
The BOT meeting ended with an 8-point communique reaffirming that the PDP remains a united, formidable and focused political party under the leadership of the Ambassador Ilia Damagum. Meanwhile, the factional acting national chairman of the PDP, Mohammed Abdurrahman, at another meeting of loyal members, including the National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, disclosed that PDP has appealed the recent Ibadan court judgment, allowing the convention to hold as planned.
The PDP hereby suspend and cancel the proposed Ibadan National Convention, pending the decision of the Court of Appeal.
The factional Anyanwu PDP and WC promised to use every legal means to reunite the party. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Take another break. We'll be right back. Sport update is next. Francisca.
Jumai, welcome to Sports Update. Now, 25 coaches, including 2 women, have successfully obtained the NFF CAF B coaching license, with the expectation that they will use their knowledge to promote football development in Nigeria. The initiative was promoted by a request from Liberia to the NFF for a recommendation of a CAF A licensed coach for immediate hiring. Also, the NFF has announced plans to hold the coaching course across all geopolitical zones in the country.
National team coach, which we need to compete with other people outside Nigeria, the global world. I think it's a good thing for me to acquire this knowledge, to know the new methodology of coaching, and to be able to compete with the rest of my colleagues all over the world.
Meanwhile, with 100 days to go, the Verona Arena, a Roman amphitheater in northern Italy, is set to host the closing ceremony for the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics, as announced by local organizers on Thursday. The closing ceremony is scheduled for February 22, 2026, following the opening of the Games on February 6, which would take place in both Milan and the Alpine resort of Cortina d'Ampezzo, with event held across a wide area of northern Italy. That is it on sports. It's back to Jumai.
Thank you so much, Francisca. And in the stillness of prayer and the echo of rifle salutes, Nigeria bids farewell to one of its quiet guardians, Major General Abdullahi Muhammad, retired, who passed away peacefully in Abuja at the age of 86, from the barracks to the presidency. His life stood for duty, humility, and service to nation. Correspondent Ibrahim Danhamidu reports. Meanwhile, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, His Eminence Al-Haji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has extended heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Major General Abdullahi Muhammad, retired former Chief of Staff to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. In a statement, his media team indicates that the Sultan also conveys his sympathies to the Emir of Ilorin and the government of Kwara State over the loss of one of their distinguished sons, describing the late general's passing as sorrowful, though inevitable. The Sultan praised Muhammad's life of service, discipline, and patriotism. The Sultan says Allah gives life and takes it at any time, and prays that Allah forgives his sins and reposes his soul in Al-Jannah Firdaus. Ibrahim Hamidu's report on that will be coming in our subsequent bulletin. And that's Network News for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jumbo Yusuf.